Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
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 Janet, sorry.
Yeah, so, motion fails. So,
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, just something I want everyone to hear, because I just asked him before the meeting, was how do we conduct these interviews, since this is my first time doing it? I was under the understanding that we were going to be able to ask individual questions, but instead, I just wanted to be clear that we are limited to the 4. So.
yes,
Right.
that's correct.
Although we don't have a board policy that says so, so it seems as though historically that's the way it's been
This
done.
is how public bodies typically do it, in my experience, working for cities, counties. And part of that is so that everyone's asked the same question, just like in a job interview. This isn't a question quite yet, but our school boards enjoyed stability and unity for a number of years. Recently, the board has experienced some unrest. You'll be stepping into a board that is in the process of reestablishing itself. Your power as board member is in the session when we're all gathered together in public meeting. And the first question goes to Matt and Matthew. And well, why don't you all 4 introduce yourselves and say a few words about yourself before we start?
Who would you like to begin?
Right. My name is Matthew Bechtel. I moved to Sweet Home in January of 2021. As soon as my family moved here, I kind of hit the ground running with my community involvement. I'm on 2 of the city committees, the Park and Tree Committee and the Budget Committee. I am the director of the Hope Church Food. I've been an officer with the Elks Lodge. I'm on the board of Mrs. Claus's Elks Toy Workshop. I'm looking at joining the Rotary Club next month. If able. I love Sweet Home so much. I'm really committed to the future of it. I want to be my part to help bring up our next generation.
Thank you.
My name is Mindy Cummings. I've lived in Sweet Home about 19 years now. Fell in love with this community. I've raised my children here. 1 left in the high school. I've served on the Sweet Home Swim Club board. I've been a youth swim official. I served on our HOA board when I lived in an HOA, with the HOA president, everybody's favorite. I currently work for the Lane County Assessor's Office. I've been there for 17 years. Again, that makes me very popular with people. And now that I only have 1 student at home, I'm looking for an opportunity to serve more in the community. I have a lot more time on my hands. My husband's working a 9-to-5 job now, so I have evenings and more free time, and nothing better to do than serve children in the community.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Hyamson, and I was born and raised here in Sweet Home. Graduated from Sweet Home High School, left for 30 years, came back as a teacher, and then finally an administrator, where I retired in 2021. And am just now, after 4 years of retirement, getting more involved in things outside of traveling. And doing whatever I want. So driving for Meals on Wheels, volunteering at my church, and thought this was a really good opportunity to get back into the education field in a different way than I have been.
Thank you.
My name is Jason Ray. I've been a member. I've lived here in Sweet Home for about 36 years. Sweet Home High School graduate. My wife graduated. My 2 sons are Sweet Home High School graduates, so the roots went up pretty deep. My wife's parents are all graduates, so pretty strong ties to Sweet Home School. I spent the last 20 years on the board, and I was looking to move on to something else with everything that's been going on. Just here to offer my service. you know, whatever I can do to help out, or if you guys choose something else, I'm okay with that too, just, like I said, all the time, if that's what you get.
I'd like the community to know that just before this meeting, we had a 3-hour training session. And I want to thank Matt, Mindy, and Chris for coming to that training. It was 3 hours on a day where you're not even a member of the board. And for you to sacrifice your afternoon to do that is commendable. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And I'm sure that you sat through the same training over a 20-year period.
Probably, another times.
So we'll start with the questions. The first question's for Matt. And then we're going to move to the right and start on the other side with each question, and 3 other board members have questions to ask. What do you believe is the primary role of a school board member?
To be the ears and the mouthpiece for the parents, the liaison between the parents and the education system. The school board acts as the guiding council for the superintendent, and direct him as a body to do his job, provide additional support to the staff.
Thank you. Jason, same question.
Yeah, just, the role of the board is to, set policy, directly oversee the superintendent. It's important to keep in mind that that's an important function, not a legal function. And so, as a board, we're asked to work together to complete that task. And then obviously the eyes and ears of the community, listen to what's brought up out there and represent as best we can the different groups, the community, parents, and students, as best we can in the given circumstances.
Thank you. Chris, same question. What do you believe is the primary role of a school board member?
As Jason said, as a broad overview, superintendent and the rest of the school district, as well as, I don't know if I'd say the eyes and ears of the parents, but you are representing the entire community. And I would like to add in the staff as well as the parents and the board and the entire community, because it seems like sometimes, you know, they're part of the community, but they've got their own little thing going. So sometimes it seems like they.
Sorry, Mandy, you were last on this one.
Took all my answers.
What do you believe is the primary role of a school board member?
I believe it's to set policy that's in the best interest of the students, by balancing, making sure that you're balancing and evaluating staff. Students aren't going to do well, the staff doesn't feel appreciated. And then while also balancing community members' input and parents' input.
Thank you. And Dustin has question number 2.
And we start with me, so you get to start first on this one.
Okay.
So you ready? Okay, how should our district balance student achievement, fiscal responsibility, and community expectations when making decisions? That's a lot.
That is a
A
lot.
lot. 3 questions.
You might have to repeat it again.
I can,
How to balance the.
let's start with student achievement.
Student achievement.
Yeah.
When making decisions. Is that what's?
Yes.
That's what
Yep.
response.
How should our district balance student achievement when making decisions and expectations when making decisions?
Well, I think that we need to gather all the information from all the stakeholders, really listen, to the experts. I'm, not an educational expert, but really listen to the people that know their fields, ask a lot of questions, and as a board, value each other's opinions and make the best decisions moving forward.
And then how should our district balance fiscal responsibility when making decisions?
I think that that is probably very important to the taxpayers in the community, that we are being responsible fiscally and spending money appropriately. I think there needs to be a lot of transparency in how we spend the money. And again, just make the best, decisions as a board that you can, taking in all the input that you have. I know when there's, budget cuts, it's always the tough decision of what is going to be cut or how you're going to do that. And if the district has gone through times like that, when we went to the 4-day school week, that was, certainly a difficult decision and not popular with a lot of parents, but that tough decisions had to be made, and they were. And
Okay. And then the last one in that 3-part question.
Yeah.
How should our district balance community expectations when making decisions?
I think being transparent is a big one. I think that we all, that was, has been pretty important as of late. Just making sure that the community knows what is going on and keeping them informed. There's really no excuse to not have the community informed anymore with social media and all the, avenues for information. It's overwhelming, but I think just keeping the community informed is really important.
And do I get to do that for every one of them then? Oh, my word.
They might all. be
It's a
concerned, just get it.
long
Straight to the
question.
moon.
How should the district balance student achievement, fiscal responsibility, and community expectations when making decisions? So you're up, Matt.
Right. That's a mouthful.
I did not write the question.
Again, if we want to break it down, it's 3 questions in one.
Well, from what I understand about student achievement is there isn't enough honors classes being offered. And I think we need to look at offering more honors classes so the kids that want to advance aren't being held back. Student achievements, I mean, now, but I think the cream will rise. What was the next?
Fiscal responsibility and
Fiscal
community
responsibility.
expectations.
Keeping the budget balanced is critical. And that is definitely a key role of the superintendent and then overseen by the board. Because these are taxpayers' dollars, so you're responsible for where this money goes. Safety must be utmost concern too, and I know from the research that I've done, safety is a concern for a lot of the citizens that the schools just are not safe enough right now. And I know we had the facility meeting last week and learned there was 40-some entrances to the high school. These areas should be kind of sealed up. For all 3.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, you ready, Jason?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, how should our district balance student achievement? Do you want all 3 of them?
Yeah,
Okay, student achievement, fiscal responsibility, and community expectations.
so student achievement has to be the paramount thing. That is the reason for the school district is to educate the kids, get them the best start that they can get in their life. And that's going to vary based on every student. So I think, the district motto of being every student, giving them the opportunity to achieve their potential is really important with that, because not every kid's going to go to college, not every kid's going to go into the trade school or something like that. So you got to really balance that achievement across the board of all those kids. You have to do that while maintaining fiscal responsibility. One of the good things this district has is Kevin, because Kevin is probably one of the best in the state at making sure that budgets come out right, that the money is being spent where it needs to be spent, and that he advises the board on a lot of that as well. So, the definite strength for the district to have somebody here that can help to guide the board, because there are a lot of decisions that we made that we don't have all the information for. If we were to go out and try to gather the information ourselves, it would be impossible. So listening to the advice to make that happen. And then the third part, balancing out the needs of the community. We represent them, and I couldn't tell you how many tough meetings I've sat through where the community isn't happy with maybe the decision that we have to make, it doesn't work. And at the end of the day, you listen to that, after listening sessions, COVID, we're going to all different schools and try to figure out where everything is at, try to communicate with people. But at the end of the day, we have to balance the priorities and make sure that the decision that is made is the right one for the students, regardless of who is here in your face saying they want to make it different. And so it's a tough balancing act. And, you know, I commend everybody that decides to take it on. I know it's tough. It's not going to be easy moving forward. That's kind of what we have.
Ready, Chris?
Yeah. I got this.
You got it good. She's got a photographic memory, yeah.
So, the three areas actually all work together. And the difficult thing about that is that if you don't have staff, people like Kevin, people like the administrators running each building that can bring all of that together and let Kevin know where they feel the money needs to be used. And for the board to be able to look at what Kevin's presenting and what the principals are presenting and saying, this is what's best overall for our kids, you're gonna have a very difficult time. Because what might be good for your child might not be the best thing for your child. It might not be the best thing for your child. And so it's a huge balancing act of trying to positively impact as many students as you can in the best way that you can, instead of just targeting one group. And that is very, very difficult, almost impossible, to be honest. So when you're trying to decide where to spend that money, you know, that, as Jason said, there's going to be people sitting here saying, no, you need to spend it here. No, you need to spend it here. They're not wrong, but they can't all be right either. So, you know, that's the most difficult part about balancing all of that.
Thank you. Next, Jenna is gonna begin question 3 with Chris. It's just the way it happened.
How will you work with other board members, district leaderships, and other community and the community, even when you disagree?
Thank you. I like that question. I've always prided myself on being able to work with anyone, whether I agree with you or not. You can ask Ralph Brown, who I worked with for many years. I did not agree with everything that he wanted me to do, but it was my job to implement those things that he wanted done. And so I think I'm very good at looking at the big picture and saying, you know, this is what the boards decide we're going to do. This is what the community wants us to do. This is what the principals are asking us to consider, and looking at all sides of whatever issue that we're looking at. So I feel like I do that very, very well. Thank you. Jason now?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason.
Oh, sorry, Mindy.
Mindy? Okay, Mindy. How will you work with other board members, district leadership, and the community, even when you're disagree? I think that it's important when you're working as a group to be respectful. I think listening to people and what they have to say and their experiences is very important, not discounting those. And you, as a board, and they might make a decision that you don't agree with, but I think that it is important to be united as a board. Just have respectful communication and listen to people. I've always been pretty good about that, and you know, being able to hear both sides. I always want to hear the other side, because I want to hear what somebody else's perspective is. And I found that generally we all want the same thing. We just have a difference of opinion in how to get there. And, I'm not always right. So, you know, sometimes you have to listen to other people, and they could be right sometimes too. Thank you. Matt? Yeah. All right, Matt. How will you work with our other board members, district leadership, and the community, even when you disagree?
through a level-headed approach. I'm an open communicator. So I like to hear all sides of the story before I come to a decision. I think God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use those appropriately. Yeah, hear all sides. Doing our due diligence is critical before we make a decision on something, so we can give an informed answer to possible opposition.
Thank you. Jason. How will you work with our other board members, district leadership, and community, even when we disagree?
So when I was first elected to the board, looking to see again, I had known the food service administrator for a number of years. And she came to me and she gave me probably the best advice that I ever get going into this. She said, listen, always listen, never make a decision based on or preconceived notions coming in, always listen, always get all the information, gather the information, and make the best decision you can at the end of the day. On top of that, I think board policy said it very well, where once the decision has been made, it's up to the board and individual board members to support that decision, even if we disagree with it. And there have been plenty of decisions that I have disagreed with. Yeah, at the same time, that's the direction the board works as a entity, as a whole entity, not as 9 individual members. And so you have to support those in order to keep continuity of the education system moving. It's amazing to me how much dysfunction at the board level filters down into the schools that's affecting kids individually. A board that fights with itself, that doesn't get along, that doesn't agree with things, will eventually get down into the classroom and affect the kids and their learning. So that's probably one of the most important things that the board has to do is focus on working together, making sure that whatever decision they need to go to explore it moving forward.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, each candidate, for your time and responses. Oh, of course.
Yep.
Sorry. Mary.
Okay, so starting with Jason and then just moving down the road. All right. What experience or perspective do you bring that will help you represent the whole community's interest? I'll repeat it. What experience or perspective do you bring that will help you represent the whole community's interest?
20 years ago, that's the community knows who I am. The community knows how to get a hold of me. The community knows that they can speak to me. That's the experience we have.
All right, so Chris, what experience or perspective do you bring that will help you represent the whole community's interest?
Like most people, I started out in education as a parent. I raised 4 children in very different school districts, several different school districts throughout Oregon. Moved into teaching, which was a whole nother world, and suddenly, you expanded your perspective. And then moved into some administrative type positions and then into administration, which again is a whole other world. And I think just having that perspective and being able to see it from all of those views gives me a little bit different perspective than a lot of people.
Thank you. All right, Mindy, what experience or perspective do you bring that will help you represent the whole community's interest?
I've been a community member for many years, a mom, raised children here. I have several kids that have already graduated from the Sweet Home School District. I 100% believe in the Sweet Home School District, great educators, friends with teachers. And I think as far as experiences, I've spent time on boards working with, as a board. I also have a bit of a tough shell. I can take it when people aren't, don't approve of the opinion that I have, or, community members may not like what people have done. I certainly have the ability to deal with that throughout my working experience.
And last but not least, Matt, what experience or perspective do you bring that will help you represent the whole community's interests?
I also served on several boards within the city. I'm kind of at the forefront, the ground level with working in the food pantry with seeing what people need. I also am one of the lead volunteers for the community dinner that's normally being served right now on Monday evenings. Through the Elks, we recently donated $7,500 to the high school for and equipment, another $250 for picnic tables. I think they're going to Foster as part of that voting board. I've coffee with the mayor just about every Thursday, and I'm aware of her literacy program. I worked with her and her husband, pastor, on their Celebrate Literacy Night. My wife can actually cook dinner for that. Go back again through the Elks. My wife and I are spearheading a youth leadership club that is going to focus on patriotism, civil service, and selfless service, and just being an overall good citizen. So that should be coming out in the next month or so. About to kick that off. So I guess just being there for people. Be reached by anybody. I'm easy to get a hold of. You can see me at just about every event. Always find me by my hair. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll try this again. Thank you, each candidate, for your time and responses. At this time, we will vote by signed written ballot. Each board member should mark their ballot for one candidate only, then sign and date it. Ballots will be collected, tallied, and the results announced in open session. Ballots will be retained as part of the public record. And so go ahead and vote at this time on the yellow piece of paper that's in front of you. Well, we have a quorum. There will have to be a majority eventually. Yeah, we'll work our way to that. And so what we will do when no candidate will receive a majority, when the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and we'll proceed to another round of voting if we don't have a majority. And I said this earlier, but you don't have to announce who voted for who. Yeah, just tell you, just read how many votes for this person, how many votes for this person.
Yeah, you're missing two.
What I don't.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No matter, I just want to know, no matter how this turns out, those of you that aren't appointed, please go through the process of election if you really are interested in getting on the board.
I'm just sitting here thinking about the caliber sitting before us, and I'm just so incredibly impressed. So I second what he's saying.
Let me guess, we didn't agree.
Hmm. 8, yeah, no. So there's a tie with the two highest number of votes between Jason Reddick and Chris Hyacin.
Well, Mike, I might have to interject here. According to OSBA, their public meetings law, board meetings and executive sessions. Even if we have a quorum, but we're a 9-member board and says affirmative votes by a majority of a board are required to transact business. For example, if 3 members of a 5-member board are present, all must vote affirmatively to transact any business. So wouldn't we have to have 5 votes? We may have to table this till next time. 'Cause
No, we don't have to table it. We're gonna do what we said and eliminate the one.
So we're gonna keep going until we have 5 votes for the
And
same.
now we're gonna vote on those 2. Yeah.
Okay.
It's another round.
I was thinking it would come out as a tie, but I didn't calculate it right, and this will not. So between Jason and Chris,
Here, Julie, you don't have to leave.
and please sign it again for the record.
You want date too?
Sure.
The date is the 8th.
Mr. Chair,
Superintendent, yes.
Thank you.
we have 7 members present, and so it's the majority of the members present. We have a quorum, it goes with the majority, with 7 present or needed to win.
Yes, and we have 3, 3, and 1 at this
Just
point. Yeah,
Thank you.
no, thank you for clarifying.
Most stressful thing I've been on today.
My stressful things coming up, I don't see the oath of office.
It's in there.
So Chris Hyacin has received a majority vote and is elected to position number 8. The board certifies the election results for position 8 as entered into the public record. And I'm gonna invite the superintendent to administer the oath of office to the elected candidate.
Okay.
Can we come up there? Is here fine?
Oh, right there. Or you can come up here for pictures.
This is page 3.
I have it right here if you want to.
Oh, found it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
How about you repeat after me? So hold up your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Chris Tyson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the state of Oregon,
state of Oregon,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws
and the policies of the Sweet Home School District.
and policies of the Sweden School District.
During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities
I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities
of the office of school board member to the best of my ability.
of the office of school board member to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Again, thank you for you guys for putting yourselves out there. And yeah, Chris, you can jump up here.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Now is the time to elect the board vice chair and secretary for 25-26 pursuant to ORS 332.040, 332.005 sub 2, and board policy BC/BCA. Are there any motions to appoint the vice chair?
Make a motion to.
I second that.
Okay. There's been a motion to appoint Dale as vice chair and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All nay. Nay. Okay, so two, Mary and Floyd for the record. Are there any motions to appoint the secretary?
Nominate Jenna Norman.
I second that.
There's been a motion and a second to nominate Jenna Northern as secretary. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. No. Next order of business is public comment. At this point, we have Steve Nelson has signed up to testify, and you would come up to the table and you can pull one of those chairs up there and
Is that or I can stand? I don't know.
whatever's more comfortable for you, sir.
Yeah, it's just so you can hear me. I guess I want to stay in order. It's like, do I address the entire board or do I address just the chair?
You can address it. You can say chair and board or just say board.
Okay, I just don't want to get out of order.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay, it's just, I'd like to ask a question. Do you think as a group that the reporting of what's going on in our meetings is accurate? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I did, I'm hard hearing the echoing. What was that?
Do you believe that what's been reported on our last meetings or so is accurate? The reporting in the newspaper, because most of us, I'm just John Doe Public. Most of us get our information on what goes on here through the local newspaper.
Can I clarify something, Steve?
What?
Can I clarify something?
Yes.
The public comment time, and normally I have this in my script, but I didn't, that I jotted down, but I didn't say it, is neither the staff or the board are required to respond to comments.
Yeah, I don't, if you don't, just tell me to move on.
You know, but go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, I just wanted to know if, you know, what we're getting from the public, do you guys feel it's accurate? You know, because there's been a lot of different divisive statements made, you know, and people have different opinions, right? This is a 9-person board, and each person generally, on your opening comment, being respectful to each other and, you know, not everybody's going to agree, but we don't have to hate each other if we don't agree with someone.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Do you have access to the internet?
Yeah.
I would recommend you go on YouTube. It's all online and you can see it for yourself in its glory.
Well, it's just,
You don't have to rely on the paper for that. You can see it firsthand at that. Not that I'd recommend that if you have any question about what has been printed, you can see it verbatim right there for you to make your own decisions. That's what I would recommend that you do.
yeah. It's just, it's been just, you know, I've been in this, I'm probably the oldest person in this thing. I've been around this community a long time, went to school here,
But I just think
worked
if you
here.
want to do some investigative stuff, that's what I would recommend that you do.
Yeah, I'm not trying to investigate. I just want to make sure that I don't comment on something that's inaccurate.
Nope.
Well.
You know,
if you-
because
I feel that people have been kind of persecuted and kind of slandered and said, what is, it was published that if somebody works in our school district, our biggest employer probably in this area is our school district. And if somebody's on the board and their wife, is a teacher or something like that, what's that got to do with the school board? If somebody's on the city council, what's that got to do with the school board? And those comments were made in the paper, and those are friends or people in our community that we value, been in our community for years. And I feel that they've been slandered because this whole town has been taking sides because of the meetings, because it's on public record. And I don't want to see any, just because somebody has a different opinion, I don't want to see anybody basically,
I want to say something. I appreciate your heart. You can tell that you are a person who's very devoted and cares very deeply about this community.
Mhm.
Just to piggyback off of what Dustin was saying about watching the YouTube video, and I believe, to quote, in all of its glory, there's two sides to every story.
exactly.
And so there have been complaints that have been filed with regard to that public meeting. And so hopefully the truth will come out.
The other part of that.
Mary, there's a policy KL that deals with complaint procedures. Complaints will be handled and resolved as close to their origin as possible. Any complaint about school personnel other than the superintendent will be investigated by administration before consideration and action by the board. That's the process that we should be using. You basically gave a little Sunday school sermon last month, citing scripture and telling us that we needed to be unified in unity. And just bringing up, I filed you did this during the 3-hour training, bringing up, I filed a complaint, it's going to be investigated, and trying to read it. That's not unifying, Mary.
Is the investigation still ongoing?
You'll find that out later.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
Good to know.
Well, I think we're digressing a little bit. To answer the question, Steve, when you asked about, is the reporting accurate? Well, everybody has their own opinion about that. It doesn't matter if that's CNN, Fox News, the New Era, the Ultimate Democrat, or whatever. So to ask a blanket question like that is pretty hard for any of us to answer. We're not blowing you off.
Yeah.
Some of us would say some reporting's been accurate, some hasn't been accurate, but there's really no way to fit that into a blanket statement. But I'm gonna go with Mary. I do appreciate your concern. I've never seen your face here before. so
Well, I don't know any of you.
I
It's just,
appreciate you coming out.
it's just
It's a big deal to sit in that chair and to come
Yeah.
out and speak your mind, whatever it's about. So I applaud you for that and I appreciate that.
but I mean, it's been a pretty divisive start to the meetings, to say the least. And I just think people are entitled to have their own opinion about things without somebody's head rolling,
Thank you.
you know.
I agree. Thank you.
I mean, we can have disagreements, we can have a few arguments, but I think that we just need to get back to work and we discuss an issue, it's left or right or up and down or whatever. It's not really somebody, loses or wins or loses or whatever. It's just, business is done and we go on to the next. And things like maybe what's happened in the past, maybe we should just, let little dogs lie, Anyway, most of us citizens, we're only really concerned about the best education for our students. That is number one, right? And we can do all the talking and talk the talk, but boy, it's what we do that matters. We can talk for hours, we can talk days, but what we do and what we get done, that's what matters. And I just ask everybody to kind of be at peace and just get the work done. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Nobody else signed up, but is there?
I I know, I signed that paper, I thought,
I was gonna open it up to anybody that hadn't signed up that wanted to make a public comment anyway, Steve, so come forward.
The reason I'm wanting to make a public comment is because as the union president, I represent the teachers. And not all of them maybe share my opinion. And I appreciate what Steve, said, and I appreciate this board, all of you. Chris, I'm very excited for you to come on. I've worked with Chris. I've known Chris a long time. And I think that this isn't the start that I'd hoped we'd have this year. And I don't like how it started. And but I think I own a little credibility. I think I have some credibility to what I say. I've paid my dues. And there's some people on this board, I think, Dustin, right now, you're probably one of the best things happening for this board with your leadership. And I don't think I've given you the credibility and the respect you deserve. And I think right now what we're seeing with you is very big. And I appreciate that. And I'm not going to throw Floyd under the bus because 3 times when the water was flowing under my house, he didn't have to fit in the end 3 weeks down the road. He showed up that day and fixed it. And I know a lot of people here, and I have time spent with Dale and a lot of people, but I do think that it's time now because we have a lot of things going on in our school, and we need to think we've got big things happening with a building. And I can't believe people would attack Julie on Facebook. She's taking notes, for God's sake, and so I want us to get out of the clamor of Facebook and the non-credible people going after that. I know everybody has something going on, and I'll keep it brief because I think we're at 3 minutes, but man, I am so ready for this board to come together and work together. And we don't know what everybody's going to have. And if we keep stirring things and keep filing things and keep doing that, then we can't move forward. And I had a good conversation with Jason and a while back. And I said, it's just important that we come together. A guy named Steve Turner, a really good coach, said one of the best things that he has in his coaching career is assistants that would challenge him. And that's, I think, why I've had success as a coach is I've had some pretty darn good assistants that challenged me. And we don't always have to agree, and you don't even have to like each other. But at this point that I just felt led to say, I am so ready for us to work together and to build up and to set policy. Because when I come and talk about butterflies and rainbows about in my certified position, I will. But right now, we have clatter going on, and we have disruption to what we need to have happen. And I just think it's important because I've had to put my pride aside too on some things. And I want to see us move forward, give Terry direction and let him lead, and let Kevin keep doing the things he does and find out some of the good things that we can do and have done. Because I'm starting year 35 and I'd really like to start year 36. But we'll see. So thank you.
Is there anybody else in the public that would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, the next item is the review and approval of today's agenda. Board members have received the agenda in advance. Are there any requested additions or changes?
Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The agenda is approved. Now we'll move on to student and personnel reports, comments. number 7 on the agenda, and we'll start with our student representative who's down here at the end of the table and is going to tell us everything that's going on in Sweet Home High School.
Hi, my name is Trudy Victor. I'm a student body president at Sweet Home High School, and I just want to thank you guys so much for allowing me back here and to share what we're doing, because we're really excited for this year. So last week we started our membership week at school. I was wondering what I thought would be kind of scary, but I just feel like the staff and the administrators just made it a very comforting process. I had a great time. And I think that really helped the freshmen as well. And having that day just for them to go in and get used to the school and get adjusted, I feel like it's just a really great thing. And then when they see all the older kids come in the next day, I think that's just a super exciting process that a lot of us really enjoy. And so that's been really awesome. We have had 2 assemblies so far, and we're seeing a lot of student involvement, which is really exciting. After COVID, we kind of noticed students were a little bit hesitant to join in the games, to get involved in school, but we're kind of seeing it in upturn now. We have 195 students that are fall sports right now, and I think 30 kids came out today to adopt audition for our year. And so that has been super exciting to see, and we're really excited. We also hosted back to school dance, which is kind of the first thing that kids look forward to. Our first big participation event, and I feel like that went really well. It was hosted by our freshman class board, which was really fun to see them kind of take a handle on that leadership role. It's really fun. This year, we as a leadership team have decided to focus on the one family aspect of our core values. This means embracing traditions and creating new ones. Last year, we started the Your First, My Last tradition. And so this year, we're really going to lean into that and embrace the passing of the torch toward the kindergartners that are coming in. And so I think that's really exciting to see. Also, in the process of getting our homeroom situated. That's kind of been a tumultuous process over the years, and I feel like it's gotten a lot better. And I'm really excited to, like I said, it's just been really fun, and it's awesome to interact with peers my age, and at class it's been really, really great in school, and to see that really that was really good. Oh yes, we've also seen a food drive on clubs, which is super exciting to see. We have a peace work club now started last year. And we did like fantastic last year. It was amazing. And I think sharing that up with a lot of interest was about it. For our sport, they started about 3 weeks ago. Volleyball had a jamboree and won their opening game against Malala 5 sets, which was just a great way to get your goal. It was really fun to see everyone involved. They also took first place in silver bracket at their tournament event. So that was very impressive to see. We also had hosted a football jamboree, and JV and varsity won their opening matches against Madras. As for soccer, we have a game against Eastland tomorrow, and our first home game against Spartanburg. So we're looking to see a lot of people there. And then cross country this year we have 27 years coming up, which was a huge drive to last year, and it's so exciting to get. They had a first meeting on Sunday, I feel lucky, and they did really well for the first meeting, especially for like I said, I'm really excited to see how this year's gonna pan out. And as a senior, it's really cool to see how much we've grown as a school when I was a freshman, and seeing all the new traditions and seeing students get involved, being excited for school. Because I know it's something that I really enjoy. When you can come in from summer, just really excited in the school year, and that's just a really special process, and so that makes me feel really special.
Thank you. Do any board members have difficult questions for her?
You're very articulate. And I noticed that you presented that without really looking at your notes, and I'm very impressed by you. I wanted to say thank you. The cheerleaders and maybe the pep squad, the cheerleaders showed up a week early to welcome all the teachers and the board members that were there. They were with their pom-poms, and that was really neat.
I think the really being the one together, belongs together, as a community. I think the community is sweet home is only because it's a really special place to live. And the reason so many people.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trent. Yeah,
Thank you. Next, we have certified classified representatives. Is Velma here?
Haven't seen her.
Nope. You have something for us, Steve?
That's you pointing out, Trinity, that's how she's always been. Her and that family, that's sweet home raised and educated, so we'll take the credit for it. No, she has great parents. She's a good kid. Guys, we're off to the start of our year. We had our open houses. I don't know if you guys attended any of those. We had parent involvement all over the place. I like at the high school, we did welcome to the pack. That's kind of that one family aspect of it, and a lot of different things as we started off the year. Coming up, it's October 1st, and I don't know that, their first, our last. Have you seen the YouTube video of that Ramil made? It's very powerful when you line up all of the kindergartners on, I think it's the 40-yard line, and then all the seniors, and then they come in the middle. And I'm watching this last year, and I got choked up. I do that a lot now that I'm older, I became a papa, and that changed everything in my life. Oh, my son got married this weekend too. That was pretty exciting time for us. But anyhow, that's going to be October 1st. I would invite you guys to, I know some people work for a living, and so you got to be somewhere, but some people are retired, so they can come watch it. But it's October 1st. I would suggest you come and watch that.
What time? 10:30.
What time?
10:30.
10:30. Is it during homecoming week this week? I think that's part of our homecoming week thing too. Maybe, I'm not sure on that, but come and watch that. We mentioned that we had 10 new hires. I want to inform the board about those hires. Some people think that's a lot. That's incredible that we had 10, because I want to tell you something about the 10 new hires. Of those 10 new hires, 5 were retirements. Okay. So 5 people retired. We added a halftime. We added a halftime to the high school to fill numbers in the PE, but he also was taking a emergency licensed elementary PE job. So we had actually 3 were emergency licensures that we had to fill those positions with licensed staff. So that's 8. 8 of the 10 were filling positions that was an emergency licensure with licensed staff, 5 retirements, and then we had 2 more leave. That one was Harrison. You guys, gosh darn it, losing him was that. But he took a job as a professor at Western Oregon University, and then another teacher left for personal family reasons and moved back east with their family. So of our 10, it wasn't, I'm going to tell you, this is a good place to work. And I know myself, at our high school, our 3 administrators are incredible at my high school. And they do good things. They do great things. And I see in that across this community and our schools. So we hired 10 new staff. Yeah, we got 10 new ones here. And it wasn't because people were disgruntled. They retired. Now, not all of them retired and work back like I'm doing. So, but coming up, you guys, do you have an idea when you're going to start working on the cell phone policy?
Being drafted.
Have you?
I think the OSBA is doing a draft version.
Well,
It has
that's
to
great,
be.
and I hope it works for them and in wherever
I've seen
area they're-
a person
I'm-
who said that,
I'm
but they were
hoping
gonna
that
keep
we-
working on it.
Because if I understand it right, can't we have some say in what our policy looks like?
Yes.
Well, I would hope there be some input on what fills the needs of our kids. And also, so you know, some of the cell phone use, I'll just use my example. The financial algebra and the math for trades I teach. I was teaching them apps on their phone on how to figure out the housing price, how to, you can punch in the amount of gravel you're gonna need to pour a floor, do your floor. There's apps. So it's added on some different work and how you're gonna find that in Chromebooks. So but you want to be careful what you say when staff are involved in that policy. Now, I know the building and talking to teachers, buildings, the teachers are kind of modeling this very well for the students. No one's walking down the hallway using their, so they're modeling it very well. Also in that policy, I would ask that as a coach, the coach part of me, make it manageable. Okay. Make it manageable, because one of the things that we've done for the last several years is we have a band, like the band app. You need one message to go out to all your athletes. You send it and it comes on that message. And so they all get it. And parents, coaches, you have your, we have we have a high school one and we have a MAC club one. So that band app. So I don't know if the policy has any wiggle room for before. I keep hearing bell to bell. Is that right?
Yep.
Bell to bell. The bell don't ring until 8:05. So I don't know. I don't see a problem. This is me. Some people might, but I personally don't see a problem before school having that phone. But if it's, when you guys develop your policy, because right now we're just operating on an executive order. And I know that the schools are following it. Teachers are following it. I know that there's there's not going to be a big issue at the elementary schools, is there, with this?
Probably not.
But at the junior high, it starts happening. And then at the high school, I know it's caused Ralph and Aaron some work. And so looking forward to get some help soon with that. So, I would appreciate some input from staff when you guys before you lay your policy down and show it to us, and maybe some administrative input too on that. I want to answer one thing that was said at the board, that we need to offer more honors classes for kids that want to take honors classes. Okay. So let me tell you what. Currently, we are offering 34 college credits at the high school. Okay. We offer 12 credits in history, 3 credits in political science, 3 credits in a math 105, math 111, 112, and math 251 are all 4 credit classes. Oh, wait, so that's more than 34. Sorry, as the math teacher. We offer 3 biology, 3 marine biology. We write an advanced writing class for 3 credits. We have an English 4 for 3 credits. And this is after losing, we lost 12 when we lost Harrison to Western Oregon, 12 advanced chem classes. So we are offering a very rigid curriculum. Okay. Sorry if the state test scores doesn't scream that, but you just saw one of the products of what we're doing. And we are offering, plus we offer an opportunity for 9 to 12 credits with LBCC for seniors. They have that opportunity on our dime. Okay. So we are offering a very good curriculum. And again, we're offering classes to meet kids where they're at, a lot of them. Plus, maybe not honors, but there's kids that are getting an alternative education and meeting them where they're at and looking at different things. So I want to let you know. So if you were unaware, we are teaching some And then there's guys like me that aren't teaching any honors classes, okay? But I am teaching my financial algebra and math for the trades and those are become very fun classes.
I know,
Our,
I know one student at least because of the paper, but who graduated here with their high school diploma and their associates.
yes, oh yeah. Yeah, I know people are cutting off years of school. No, if they would have offered this when I was in school, I would have still gone 5 years to get my master's. But college was too much fun. No, but you know, we provide a lot of incredible opportunities, and the teachers here meeting kids where they're at, families surrounding kids during tragedies, and it's the teachers, you guys are our first line of defense with those kids, and the classified staff. You never know who you're going to connect with. And so I just want to celebrate those people that are working in our buildings and the grade schools and the junior high and our high school. And then I want to also let you guys know, we're going to be starting negotiations pretty soon. Okay. We have done very well compared, and I said it last year and it was already said tonight. The work Kevin does here is it's pretty special. It's very well done, because he used to be the Kevin of no, but now he's no longer the Kevin. Hey, Kevin, no. Okay, now what do you want? No. So, but you know, we're going to be going into negotiations. The last contract we did was the best one you've ever been a part of. Has it ever been easier for you on Terry? It was very fair, and it was very well worked, and I'd like us to do that again. I'd like us to work. Yes.
How often do you do negotiations?
Every 3 years.
3 years.
And it's a little different. When my very first year teaching here, I walked in and they told me don't show up until 7:30. They put a button on me working without a contract, and I just don't want to. I think we're just going to have to be ready to work together on that. So, and I don't know when will that start. I don't know. I've kind of been busy the last few months. Yeah.
The contract ends in July, August.
Yeah. We'll get going on that soon. I covered for Dustin one time on negotiations when he asked me to. He said it's going to be a slam dunk. I have it signed in a week. I think it was 7 months later we got it covered. So, but with that, you guys, do you have any questions for me on our school or anything? What's going on? I can answer for you, or because I'm happy to do so.
It was easy because you cut the attorneys out of the process.
Yes, that was true.
Okay.
That was true. We're gonna work together on it, and we'll be talking very soon. So again, hey Chris, welcome to this. Just when you thought you were out, huh? No. Okay. Thanks, guys, and good luck. And I do look forward to us digging in and getting some work done. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Superintendent Martin, do you have a report? Anything you want to share?
Yes. Our initial enrollment, we have that as of today. And we went through the summer believing, the end of last year in the summer, believing that we were only going to have about 85 kindergartners. And they showed up 126, which is, as you look across, that's still smaller, but it's more consistent with classes that we've had in the past. So when you look at our overall enrollment, just past the highlighted yellow column, you go to 6/30/25. We ended last year with 2,148 students. And then if you back up to the highlighted, what we have currently, we've got 2,265. That's a gain of 117. The extra kindergartners, if you will, represent 41 of that 117. And so that's really good news for us. Our finances are tied directly with our student enrollment numbers. Hopefully a month from now, we will still see these same numbers, because things do settle out as students move community to community and such. So starting off on a real positive there. Questions on enrollment?
It looks like we have gone down though over the years. Anything, I mean, fluctuate a little bit, but anything in particular that caused that?
There's a lot of things that have, yes.
Nationwide.
Nationwide birth rates are down. All across Oregon, schools are down. Earlier, maybe towards the tail end of last year, Corvallis is at their lowest enrollment since 1956.
Yeah, that's not right. They're looking at closing two.
Somewhere in there. Yeah, and so this is something. This is something that's impacted not only our district, but districts all around us. Fortunately, we've been better financially prepared for this. And so if you go back in the last 6 months of newspapers, there have been a lot of really traumatic things that have happened with school districts and have fallen off a fiscal cliff. There was extra money during COVID. And so people upstaffed then as that in the declining enrollment hit, people still, they didn't adjust accordingly. And so a lot of districts found themselves with huge financial gaps, and we don't want to do that. First week of school, as Trinity was saying, great first week last week. Day one, district office staff visited all of the schools. Good things going on, principals rushing around asking, what'd you see? How'd it look? Looked great. Kids were in class, they were learning, they were doing what they needed to do. What Trinity spoke of as far as the 9th graders coming in for a day by themselves before the upperclassmen came in, that was repeated at the junior high. The 7th graders came in first. There were 8th grade leadership students there to help lead them around. And then day 2, the 8th graders joined them. And then that same thing happens in the elementary. We had our kinders join us today. They were doing testing last week, so they're in the building today. So good things are going on out in our schools.
Terry, have we done the junior high, staggered junior high before? I don't remember. I know we have at high school.
Yeah.
It's been for a few years because my.
Yeah. Yep, it just gives it a lot better start. There's a lot of anxiety for the, 6th graders turn 7th graders. And so by having less students there, right, and having 8th graders there, their leadership class to help guide them around, that really helps them get off to a better start. There is another item deeper down in the agenda. If you look ahead to 9F, Mark Looney is going to speak to this. We ran into a scheduling issue last year, and looking ahead, we don't want to do that again this year. So he will speak later on tonight. And then finally, I'll just echo what a number of people have said. I don't know who this quote is from. That can easily be looked up with their phones. But what lies behind us pales in comparison to what lies before us. We are not functioning as well as we have in the past. And I too look forward to a time where we can work in unity and focus on our students, which is what we're all here for. If we need to bring in someone outside, and have meetings and get, settle our hash, I feel we're willing to do that. So we have to work together, get past the difficulties, and work for what's best for our kids before it does trickle down into the classrooms. I think it was Jason said that his part, because it will. if it goes long enough, it's gonna get into the classrooms, and I know for a fact that nobody sitting around this table wants that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda. Approve the minutes from the July 14th, 2025 school board meeting. Accept the resignation from Harrison Neal, science teacher at the high school, effective September 12th, 2025. Approve the co-op for the dance drill team between Sweet Home Central Lynn. Approve the temporary hire of Serena Compton, third grade teacher at Hawthorne for the 25-26 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None for the record. Next, we have information discussion, and Kevin's going to give us a budget update.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Item 9A in your board packet, budget update. We are now 2 months through our fiscal year, July and August have completed. General fund spending, we are up just over $193,000 compared to the same time period last year. The primary reasons for that, at first, we have higher liability insurance and property insurance premiums this year, and that was expected. And then also labor costs are higher. The largest single item, this was expected also. An increase in our first pension expense, pension rates went up, and so that's reflected in here. Part of the reason why our spending is up this year compared to last year. We'll continue to see this through the year. It was budgeted out.
Any questions for Kevin on the budget? I think next you have, talk about the audit letter in the board questionnaire, maybe.
It's the next item. As a board member, there's actually some homework here, and it's not mandatory. This is voluntary on your part. Pauling Rogers is our audit firm, and what they would like to do is be able to hear from you about any issues or any areas that you think that they should pay particular attention to. And so they have a letter in here explaining the audit process, but that's followed by a questionnaire. And again, this is voluntary, but I would encourage, if you have time to do this, you can then either email it to the auditor, and that's included in the memo here, or if you prefer, you could just drop it off at the business office, and we will forward that to the auditor. So this helps them, and really what it does is it helps, there's so many different areas they can focus on. And so by you as board members giving them feedback, it helps them determine what they should most closely pay attention to.
It's great. Good summary, thank you. 9C, the open budget positions. Is that you as well?
I'll take it. Yeah, this is one of those, one of the, I guess you could say positive things about having a 9-member board is we can have up to 9 additional budget committee members. And so in a lot of communities that are much larger than us, they don't have nearly as much input as what we can have here in Sweet Home. So what I would do is, if you know of people in the community that want to provide input, this is a great way to get involved. And so just be encouraging people. The key thing I would ask though is it really isn't a major commitment. It's most years we've been able to approve the budget only 1 meeting, sometimes 2. But it's important that the people that volunteer actually be here. It's perform requirements, they count. So if you have people that are committed, that are really interested in this, encourage them to apply. And I think they just tool and regularly get involved.
Thank you, Kevin. Number D, Dale asked for this to be on the agenda, It's an update on the ethics stuff. So, we did some, board training, put on by OSBA just on public meetings, just prior, the 3 hour block prior to this meeting. The 5 different people who filed grievances with the school board received a response by email on Friday, August 15th. Was also sent to the Oregon Government Ethics Committee as required by ORS 192-705. In response to the 5 different emails, I received one automatic reply from OGEC, so sent an email and got confirmation that 5 had been sent and received. The executive director of OGEC and an investigator called me on Monday, August 18th. They informed me that all 5 documents were being treated as public meetings violations, not public ethics violations. They told me that the 5 grievances were filed within the 30-day timeline. The school board as a public body responded within the 21 days as required by law. And I asked the next step. After asking what the next step was, OGEC said that it wouldn't do anything further unless one of the people who filed the grievances contacted them to state they were not happy with the district's response and requested them to investigate it. She stated that hadn't been done yet. In response to a question, she told me they had jurisdiction for 4 years. It could happen anytime in the next 4 years. And this is consistent with state law with ORS 192-705 and OAR 199-050-070. A complaint is filed with OGEC after the grievance procedure. It's kind of what lets you get through the door. On August 21st, I was emailed yet another complaint alleging failure to declare bias and conflict of interest. No board members were named. Consistent with state law, I emailed the complaint and the complainant and OGEC directly and let the complainant know that OGEC investigates actual or potential conflicts of interest and bias under ORS Chapter 244 without the requirement of a public body responding within 21 days. So I said, hey, I understand how you could have made this mistake, but and I have the response that the letters that the board asked me to read. If the responses that the board asked me to make, I have done by email, and I'm happy to read them if you'd like.
The response you made to on the original.
Yeah,
Agreements.
yeah. But I did include those 3 things that you included in the motion. I'd just add that I was told by 3 attorneys last month. One of them who taught an attorney that I recognize, that taught in the course just in our public meetings training just before this. I was told by 3 attorneys, it's public record. Go ahead and read it. And I did not. I gave you I had the board vote that you look at you voted to look at the complaints, and I didn't read it out loud, so.
It's public record now, though, because I've had someone come
It
and
is-
say,
it is-
hey, I saw
It
a
is,
text
it
message.
is public record now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say a few things?
Yeah.
So I stand firmly on the fact that I did not participate in a serial meeting. I have no hidden agenda. and I am solely here to better our district, as there's always room for improvement. At our last meeting, in my opinion, there was intimidation tactics that were attempted. And I'll state plainly, they were effective. They worked. I went home in tears. I hope everyone's happy with that. As a new board member, a teaching approach rather than an attack would have been the best way to handle this situation. Regardless, intimidation has no place in our work. There's no place in our schools or on this board for the good old boys club, intimidation of members, retaliation, or unnecessary drama that has inspired. Such behavior undermines the integrity of this board and distracts from our duty to service students, family, and staff. I did not run for this position to participate in power struggles or politics. I ran and was elected to ensure that our children are safe, supported, and protected from bullying. That responsibility does not end with our students and our schools. It must begin here with the conduct of the board itself. I will not tolerate or remain silent about actions that foster a culture of intimidation or retaliation. I expect that moving forward, we commit ourselves to professionalism, respect, and the shared mission of putting the students first. Anything less is a disservice to this community we are entrusted to serve. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mike, are you done with about the alleged,
Yeah.
violations there? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do have an email that, I got from, Casey Fenstermaker, who's from the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. And it's a copy. She CC'd me on it to someone. She sent, there was one complainant that actually did take it the next step and actually turned it in to OGEC.
Oh,
And this email, I won't give you the name, but this email was to that person, and it said, the Oregon Government Ethics Commission received your correspondence concerning Floyd Newschwander on 8/31/2025. The reasons explained below, the commission will take no further action at this time based upon the information you have submitted. The Oregon Government Ethics Commission has jurisdiction to enforce the ethics provision RS 244. Government ethics laws and RS 244 apply to actions taken by public officials in their official capacity and include financial conflicts of interest, prohibited use of position or office for personal financial gain, nepotism, and gifts. The allegation in your submission do not fall within the jurisdiction of the committee as described above. In pertinent part, the commission has no jurisdiction over hiring practice or disciplinary processes of governing bodies. To learn more about the jurisdiction of the commission, please visit our website. Have any questions? Yada. So basically,
so that's just to clarify, that's in response to one of those 5 initial complaints. Somebody filed a grievance and then they went ahead.
and they forwarded on to OGEC.
Because when OGEC called me at that point, she said, no, nobody had.
Right, so anyway, somebody did, and they looked at it and said, it's not in our jurisdiction, we're not gonna pursue it, we're not gonna deal with it. So, yeah, maybe 4 years down the road, somebody can, but in my estimation, if
That's pretty good.
if we had the Hungerford law firm investigate us and they said, and I talked to Taylor Kinch at Hungerford law firm, and she said that they're handing it over to OGEC. And if OGEC said, they said there's nothing there, we're handing it to OGEC, and OGEC says there's nothing there. The whole thing, the whole accusations, the fact that we were tried and you know, we were accused, tried, convicted, and sentenced when nobody even done an investigation, that says a lot about what this board did. I mean, it was a kangaroo report, and I wasn't even here. So, and had I known, and I did try to contact you before that meeting to ask you what this action item was about, and you never got back to me, and I contacted Julie and asked her, and she wouldn't tell me. She told me to contact you. And nobody told me what it was about. The whole thing was kind of a setup deal, in my opinion. And yes, we probably do need to move forward, but that's a lot easier for people to say that weren't the one getting the hatch job done on. And so that I'd like to, I would like to move forward and get back to governing and doing this, but I think somebody somewhere along the line needs to step up and apologize for the way things were handled at the last. It's despicable how this board handled itself at the last board meeting. And it could have been tabled until I came back, or until you can't call it.
Yeah, the 21-day deadline.
You can't call for an investigation after somebody's been tried and convicted. That doesn't work. You're a lawyer, you ought to know that.
There's
Who's
not,
been convicted?
there's not, and what have you been
Who's been
convicted?
convicted?
I'm sorry.
What have you been convicted of?
I was kicked out of my board chair based on accusations that were never proven or even investigated.
The board voted that we did participate in an illegal meeting, an illegal serial meeting.
That's
The
not
board-
the board's,
the-
that's not the board's,
That is
That's
that's
required.
by
We had
state-
one of
it's
three
required by
choices.
state law within 21 days of getting a grievance of an illegal meeting, that within 21 days, the board has to respond and acknowledge, the state law says you acknowledge receipt of it. You say, you admit the facts,
But
you admit there was a violation. You deny the facts, or admit the facts and say, but it's not a violation. Or you deny and deny the facts, deny there was a violation.
But you at that last meeting said 2 doesn't apply, so it's 1 or 3.
No, I said. it.
No, he said
Oh,
that.
I
sorry.
said,
Someone,
That
I
was,
was
that
intimidated
was
that
still
day.
an option.
it was still.
It wasn't really, come
Well,
on,
what,
guys.
what it was,
Well,
either,
No.
what it was is we had determined, to my understanding as a board, we had determined there was something that had gone on. And so it either needed to be number one, or number two, either we need to deny that anything happened or that something did happen and we submit it. The other one, the number two, is you admit that there's fault, but we're not gonna do nothing
You
about
you
it.
admit the facts.
Well, the
And you don't
facts
do
were,
anything about it.
you
No,
read my.
you're just saying something happened, but nothing happened. It wasn't wrong. That was that chips.
Right,
We voted to basically send it to a third party to investigate
which,
and then let the findings
Dictated.
come out.
But that's not what you voted. You voted us guilty by kicking us out of our seats.
No, we
No, we
didn't
took
vote.
action.
Guilty would be kicking you off the board, so not
Yeah.
voting you off of that position had to do, well, you're under investigation. It doesn't look very good to have a sitting president under investigation and running everything right here.
but he's not now, and
That's fine, if he's
And
still
so-
standing right here with the vote.
Well, we don't need to digress into an argument, but I wanted to, since we were on this subject of the outcome of the ethics, it says complaint, which is called a grievance. We were taught that in our training. There's a difference, but we're splitting hairs. I think it should have said on the agenda, it should have said alleged ethics complaint, because it hasn't been proven by anybody other than the people on this board, who I don't think are qualified to make that decision based on the evidence they were given, which is pretty thin. But anyway, that's,
Well, actually,
That's-
according to our policy KL-AR one of the options is to have an investigation. And
That's-
one.
And I think,
And that's,
And
that's,
during the meeting, you said we could have an investigation, but I don't think we should. And then you moved on to only present 1, 2, and 3,
well,
where
I,
board policy says that we have the option to have it investigated. Now, as the sitting chair, speaking of intimidation, I really believe that you did not allow that to really sink in. We were accused of something, tried, like Floyd just said, we were tried and sentenced and convicted before any evidence was ever received by you. I did not participate in any serial communication.
correct.
I have sent that in writing to the superintendent. I never participated, and I say it here in this public forum. So had we been given an opportunity to defend ourselves publicly, we would not be in the position that we are today.
Agreed.
So I think my understanding of what was taking place was the timeline in which we had to respond when it was provided.
And I believe that is what was presented to you, but it, according to KL/AR subsection 1, policy was not followed.
How was it?
Policy,
Can I ask a question?
excuse me, so policy was not followed. Number one, when Mike received all of those complaints, I'm just telling you what the policy is. When Mike received the complaints, in board policy, KL, the one I just mentioned, says, if any complaint is made against a board member or board members, it goes to the chair. That person sitting right there is the chair.
His goes to the vice chair.
He, what, no, I
Yes.
said, I'm
Any-
sorry, no,
any
I
complaint-
agree with what
yeah.
you're saying. I'm
Yes.
clarifying that if there is a complaint made against an individual or the board as a whole, it goes to the board chair. If
Yes.
it's made about the board chair, that does go to the vice chair.
And
The
all
problem
five of those
is
complaints
that
named
all
him.
of the I'm sorry, I'm talking, all of the complaints that were sent about myself and others, the other 5, never made it to the acting chair. Had it been made to the acting chair, things might have turned out differently. You did not follow policy.
I did follow
We
policy.
did.
He was the
All 5 complaints named the chair.
You were not the chair.
The
He
Paul,
was
I
the
know,
vice chair.
they named him.
I have one, page 2, that says Mary Massey participated in serial communication. That didn't have his name on it, it had mine.
I don't believe.
That should have gone directly to the chair.
No, because he was involved.
No, we were
No.
handling here. Mary, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
I'll listen, but I'm not sure I'm going to answer.
What, the investigation you're talking about, is that something that we as a school do that on our own? What investigation? Who
Oh, and
performs the
KL.
investigation? Who performs the investigation? I don't know. I don't know
So-
what you're quoting. Who does that investigation?
There was a lawyer that contacted me. I had a 16-minute interview.
Yeah, they contacted me too.
Yeah, so
I think, but and they're investigating
I
something,
I
but
think
my
that's-
question,
that's
so
not
Mary, this
investigation.
is gonna,
Personal.
I don't mean to, I think the intimidation's come towards me, so I'm sorry, I apologize on that. But, I told, anyway.
Yeah, it's,
But my question
I
is,
understand what you're saying.
would you like us as a district to have our own investigation?
didn't.
Cause that to me is what I was gonna present tonight, that I would like to have.
Isn't
our
that what
lawyer
Taylor
or
Kitsch
something.
did?
The board already.
That's separate.
No, this is, see, this is where I think there's some confusion on this, the issue of the investigation by the state. Somebody in the community formed a complaint against the state. We are given parameters of a certain time period to pick one of only 3 choices. And we had that evening to pick one of 3 choices. And as a board, we chose choice 3 and we submitted the findings. I think, and I was asked, this answers question, 4 years?
Yeah.
4 years? I don't want to wait 4 years. I didn't want to wait 4 years. I don't, as far as I'm concerned, if we were to hire a lawyer to investigate, everybody throw my name in there. I don't care. I got nothing.
Well, they did hire a lawyer to investigate it.
So, you know, so my question,
They did.
No, that's a misconception. So, and I pointed this out to. I think her name is Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah.
The attorney. Her email to me said she was investigating the board.
Correct.
She said that I told her is that really what you're doing? And she said, no, she's doing a personnel investigation.
Oh, so she lied.
Of a staff member, and she said that
that's what she told me.
corrected that with
It
each
was,
of. with
it was a
each of
staff
us.
member. It wasn't the board that
It's
she's
not the
talking
board.
about.
There's not an investigation. of the
That's what
board.
she
It
told me.
started out as an investigation. She told me this. It started out as an investigation of the board, but it turned into, she took that, there was no merit to that. She took that off the table and they focused, what she told the word she used, focus. She focused her investigation
on a staff member because that wasn't worth pursuing. That's what she told me. So if a lawyer didn't pursue it and OGEC didn't pursue it, it's probably not worth pursuing. And if it was worth pursuing, it should have been pursued before. I mean, the timing and all that stuff, that's all fine and dandy, but there was plenty of time after these complaints came in to contact. I had no idea there were complaints about me. I didn't know until I got back from Alaska and realized I'd been removed from the board.
Illegal serial meetings. What I was
You weren't
told
removed
not
from
to
the
reach
board.
out. I reach out to all 5 of you and say, hey, there's been a complaint against you. Here's what we're gonna do to handle it. And as we're discussing that, we're deliberating. That in itself is an illegal serial meeting.
No, if you said this is an agenda item, sorry.
No, it's fine. Couldn't we have called it,
Agenda
couldn't we have called an executive meeting to address all that? Why?
Oh, absolutely.
What-
That's
what-
an executive session.
ORS 192.660 sub 2, tell me which one of those subsections applies. If we got legal advice from an attorney, if they wrote a report, we could go into executive session. Again, we have this 21-day clock where we have to respond.
While they are looking that up, I think just speaking to the board members that are sitting, I think what was painful for me that night is that you believed allegations without even asking me the truth.
Yep.
Had you just asked me if I had participated in a serial meeting under oath, I would have said no.
Absolutely.
But I wasn't given that opportunity and I was removed from board secretary. And that was very painful. As far as did you find the ORS?
I'm,
Okay.
Well,
As far as an investigation is concerned, if an investigation was merited that could prove my innocence and anyone else's innocence, I think that's fantastic.
yep,
But if the result shows that we are innocent, we should be reinstated to our board positions. Because the motions that were made that evening were based on false information. And that false information led to the removal of 2 members. Had you known the truth, I wouldn't have lost my position and Floyd wouldn't have lost his position and Rachel wouldn't have had her name
slandered. I am a small business owner in a small town. There are tons of real estate agents here. I volunteer for the Lynn County Parks and Recs Board. I am highly involved in Foster Elementary, which might slow down here because of the school board stuff. I was uncomfortable for the first week and a half to go out because I was worried of, hey, what do you think of all that? What do you think of that? I was ashamed when I did nothing wrong. My text messages were not between a board member. All of those text messages are with a staff member. That's not illegal. And what I said is nothing I wouldn't have said in a public board meeting.
Well, in the serial meetings, the staff member is conducting the serial meetings by getting the
That staff
consensus
member is not.
of
She didn't.
different people.
That staff
but there
member
was no
didn't talk
evidence.
to other
There was
people.
between 2 people. That's all. So let's not get into the merits of the case. What I want to mention is discipline and dismissals. This is from public meetings law, board meetings and executive session, Oregon School Board Association. This says, and you mentioned 192.660-2B. Well, it says, you may call an executive session to consider the dismissal or disciplining of or hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent. Well, we are public officers. We work on a public board and we were officers. And it says, the public officer, staff member, individual against whom the action is being taken must be given notice of the executive session and the option for the meeting to be held in open session. I was never given an option. I never even knew it was happening. The key is a district must notify the person in writing at least 1 business day or 24 hours, whichever is longer, prior to the meeting that a complaint or charge has been filed and provide him or her with an opportunity to request an open hearing under OAR 199-040-0030. So,
Look, the training that we just sat through, she said it may say public official, but the board doesn't have the ability to discipline or remove board members.
Yeah.
So you're talking apples and oranges. Removing somebody as a chair is not discipline or.
If you look into that, the public officers meet. They're talking, because if it's done properly, I can be removed. Board members cannot be. The only way a board member can be removed is through a recall. The board cannot say, thus I'm sorry, you're out. Board doesn't have the power to do that. What the board has the power to do, given to them by OSBA, is to elect their officers and remove them from office. If you look into that,
OSBA doesn't give the board the power to do anything. The Oregon revised statutes on our board policy really gives the board the power.
And
Correct, yeah.
and the officers can be removed by a simple majority.
Yeah, I mean.
Be that as
You
it
know,
may,
there is a difference of opinion as to whether. It was an illegal removal in the recent board vote. Our legal counsels advised us that the actions taken with a quorum present and a majority vote. If you read ORS 332-055, states a majority of the members of the district school board shall constitute a quorum. A less number may meet and adjourn from time to time and compel the presence of absent members. The affirmative vote of the majority of the members of the board is required to transact any business. So our legal counsels advised that the action was taken with a quorum present and a majority vote, and that it was valid. They were valid decisions to remove you as a secretary and you as chair.
okay, well, if you can sleep with that, I hope your 30 pieces of silver go forward. And if y'all can live with that, you think that what happened in this board meeting was up and above board, then by golly, good on,
Can you sleep with your 30 pieces of silver for trying to remove him as
That's what I was
superintendent?
gonna say, because a lot of this stemmed from that. I came in, I was pulling the parking lot and I get a text message that the meeting with me and Terry was canceled. Why was that?
because our lawyer, Nancy Hungerford, said that
So then why were you calling to begin with? I mean, you're asking we had one meeting as a board. I'd been here for 35 minutes, met Terry for 37 seconds, and you're expecting me to come and vote
Just so-
him out that following Monday?
I didn't expect you to vote him out. I expected you to come to a meeting and hear what I had to say and see if you wanted to vote him out.
Because we can't talk about it outside of the meeting.
We are a board, our one job, our most important job
Yeah.
is to pick our CEO. And we have every right to do that, and it's absolutely legal to do that. And everything that I did leading up to that meeting was absolutely double, triple checked by all of our lawyers. Everything was legal and above board. It might be, I've heard the term optics a lot. Well, it might not have looked very good, but it was absolutely legal, and we have the right to do that. But did I?
Evidently not, because you didn't call the meeting.
I canceled the meeting because Nancy Hungerford, our lawyer, told me.
So then you
that
just got done saying that 3 lawyers said it was okay, and then all of a sudden.
She changed her mind between Friday and
Oh, there
Monday.
you go.
And she
Okay.
came back and said, well, after looking at it with an overabundance of caution, because we don't want to violate the due process of the superintendent, then I believe you should cancel the meeting. And that is absolutely, and I said, we don't want to open up the district to a giant multi-million-dollar lawsuit, so we're gonna cancel the meeting. I said, should I give a reason for canceling the meeting? She said, I wouldn't. So I'm going on what the lawyer told me to do, but nobody asked me any of this. I never got a chance to, nobody called me, nobody emailed me, nothing, nobody.
And-
So things that I did were absolutely above board. I think things that happened in this room were not. Now,
So just for a second, follow up on that meeting, we go into an officers meeting. I say hello, greet Terry, sit down at the table. You haven't called in on the phone yet. Mary comes in, he greets her, she doesn't say anything, she sits down and to me and says, hey, how you doing? You didn't even acknowledge him in the room. And you guys start the meeting like.
Talk now.
You guys start the meeting like everything's fine.
Well, I'm,
At that point, everything was fine. We weren't having a meeting. There's no.
No,
You
no,
can't see the irony
like, we're
of
like,
that.
we're just gonna go on
You
and
can't see the
we're gonna
irony
try to
of that.
remove the superintendent.
So as new board members, can we not discuss previous evaluations? That was my thing for that meeting. I've never seen any previous evaluations. I've not been involved in any of that. I have questions. I have lots of questions.
Part of the process is you work with somebody for a year,
And
you
then
evaluate.
go toward the end of it and
It
bring
doesn't
all the
matter.
news up to whatever it is that concerns you have about it.
Like
Instead of,
and I'm sure.
You know,
Evaluations. like,
there's a
you can-
process and that's not the process.
okay, just, I'm gonna jump in here real quick. So I think
Go.
everyone, thank you. I think everyone needs to understand that in order to create any executive session, it requires 3 people.
Yes.
The 3 people that decided to have that executive session to discuss the superintendent.
Executive session is
Special
different.
meeting, not
On special meeting, I
Special
apologize.
meeting.
Apologize for the language, was Floyd, Mike, and myself. It was the 3 of us that decided
No,
to have.
That's not a floor. That's
Let-
3 people.
and let's talk about that, because the rule says to add an item to the agenda. The policy says it's the board chair with the approval of 3 board members. He had the right to set the meeting. When he calls me and says, I'm gonna put this on the agenda, I'm gonna set the meeting. He's got the right to set the meeting. Ask OSBA. It's just that our policy says when you're gonna add an agenda item, it's the board chair with the request of 3 other board members.
Okay,
Typically in practice, do 3 board members get in the room and decide, yeah, with Terry, yeah, this should be the agenda, yeah.
I mean, I guess
Isn't that?
I misunderstood that policy, but I do know that you have spoken to me, you've stopped me publicly and discussed terminating Terry. So what I don't appreciate, Mike, is that during that last meeting, you did not tell your fellow board members that you had agreed to terminating Terry.
I never agreed to terminate him.
You
That's a lie. When, let me talk, when Floyd and I went outside. And I, with the combination of Chelsea Osberger right there and Deanna Green endorsing my opponent. And hearing rumors of other involvement, I went outside with Floyd in the parking lot. And this occurred before July when we elected officers. And I said, let me look at my notes. I made the comment, not everything's ideal. There's always room for improvement. What I also said, progressive discipline. I said there's a process if he's doing something that he shouldn't be doing, or he's doing something that we want him to do. We can work through verbal, written to make that happen, to make that compliance happen. I never said I would terminate him.
I'm just gonna refresh your memory that after a board officers board meeting, you stopped me out in front of the building. And you said that you didn't want Luke as the principal or superintendent, but you had other people in mind. So
Point of order.
so having said that,
it's not okay to be using names.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sitting right here
Yeah.
and you're talking about terminating me or not.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and this is
Okay,
not
I'm-
how we,
Bringing other people into it, that is not okay. We need more training by OSBA, so we don't do stuff like this when it's being broadcast for the world to see. Our kids deserve better.
That's on my notes, Terry. I 100% agree with you.
We're just in a
So
bigger.
that's what I was going to say. It's right here.
Yeah.
We're
Is
big,
that-
I have receipts on things that I know, and it was put in a newspaper that I was gonna have PTSD and something else. Those receipts that I can provide meant nothing about if I was okay in a near miss car accident. It was about Terry, it was about other things, like we're trying to act like none of this took place. Things took place out of, now I'm not gonna bicker, I'm just saying things took place out of order. And they need to happen in order. And we're bickering and we're spreading this board apart and we're not coming together for what our sole purpose is. We're just pointing fingers, like in every freaking direction. We need to stop, we need to be unity, like, we need to move forward. We trust in Terry, we did an evaluation of Terry. There's receipt, like, if you wanna look at any of the stuff, I guarantee you they would provide you anything and everything of anything we wrote down about him, like an improvement. And I think that you being a part of this board would offer like, hey, maybe we should talk about this improvement. And hey, when we do these evaluations, I think everybody has to get to a respect on this board where we're not picking and, oh, I didn't do this, but actually you did do this. And I have something that says you did do this. It's enough. We're all adults here. Like, let's get back to like where these kids are and what we want to do for this school. Like, we have a great district, we have a great community, we have a great superintendent. We have people that want to be a part of this stuff. Let's stop. Enough.
Well,
I agree with you on things, and you can disagree with me, and I respect you in that, like,
right.
but enough is enough, like, we're just pointing fingers.
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying. I have here, unity is key. I want to be unified with you. We just brought in a new person into chaos. This is not what we wanted. I want to be unified, and I can speak for myself right now, and I bet everyone would nod in agreement. Right now, we are having some issues over what happened with these complaints. But I can tell you, my number one goal is the kids. This just happens to be something that was an attack. And it was based on a lie. And I want to be unified. I do. But my name is dragged through the mud.
Mine too.
If your name is dragged through the mud, I'm sure you want it cleared. That's all I'm asking. I want my character returned.
And
That's it.
And I think that's why we voted in the last session to send it to somebody to have it validated. I think that's why we decided that that was the best option, because we couldn't ignore it. It was too prominent in the community to just be like, it didn't actually happen, or we don't know that it happened. So I think that's why we took those steps and chose, we were acknowledging something happened. We are passing it on.
But in that acknowledgement, I was removed from my position.
I understand that.
And I was removed with unfounded allegations.
Does it have to have any
There's
allegations?
nothing, allegations, you're under investigation.
Right, but we're saying
So
the
we-
investigation is complete, correct? Isn't that what I'm gathering, that Taylor Kinch or whatever found nothing, OGEC
She's
found?
not investigating
We're not
us.
investigating.
That's what her email said to me, that I was doing an
yes,
investigation.
she corrected that.
She
So
didn't to me
this is
though.
This is where to gain the trust of the community back.
I would like my
parents-
name cleared.
And I think this is why I brought up, should we hire somebody to do an investigation on this? Because it sounds to me like unless the person that filed the complaint goes to the OGEC.
Which she
And
had.
no,
Isn't that what you
no,
said? That they
that
went
was
to
a fifth complaint that was
One of the five.
one of the five.
and they said there was no merit to it. Isn't that what you said, Floyd?
They said it doesn't fall under their jurisdiction, so they're not going to investigate.
One of the five.
So this is why I was just wanted to throw this out for conversation that. For transparency transparency and for some closure, would it be behoove us to have somebody? Hire somebody of our own to investigate this, to expunge or show
So
fault one way or the other, and that to me would be the best way to go forward, but I don't throw that out, I mean.
I
Go
think
ahead,
that would be very
Superintendent.
appealing.
So when we hear what Dustin's asking to be cured, first off, I agree completely with Jenna. Thank you for that. When we clear it up, I also want my name removed from the 30 news stations that said the board was attempting to oust Superintendent Terry Martin. So you want an apology? You want to fix stuff? Let's go all the way back to that. The school district doesn't have enough money to pay attorneys to do that. We need to, as I offered earlier, we have to get together with a former board or someone else respected in the community to get this squashed and move on. It was a legal removal for Nancy Hungerford for OSBA. And, you know, it's 8:30, let's go ahead and stay here till midnight. But as you're cleaning up everybody else's, I want an apology and all, me too.
So,
Well,
Just to clarify, Terry, nobody ever from any news agency ever contacted me,
nope,
ever. They made that stuff on
that
their
is
own.
an absolute lie.
That's
You
not.
had an intermediary contact the newspaper.
Did you listen to the words I said? I said, nobody from the news media contacted me.
How did they get all of your words, Boyd? There were 8 pages.
I contacted them, Terry, after it all
Okay,
settled
so
down.
in semantics.
No, not at all. There's a very important distinction there.
So,
When everybody said these things.
hey, let's take a break.
agreed,
Take a 5-minute break and use the restroom.
yep.
You know what? I'm gonna do you one better. I don't need this kind of shit. I'm out of here.
Are
Consider
you,
that my resignation.
that's your resignation, Floyd?
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna sit here for another 2 years in this den of vipers. I'm not gonna do it. My life's worth more than this.
Don't do that,
Accept it.
Floyd.
Comment real quick?
No,
No, it's not,
no, we're on break.
it's, you can't smell it unless it's public, wait until we. Well, yeah. Yeah. Go on.
And before we move on to 9E board policy discussion, I had a request from her to make a public comment.
Thank you. My name is Terry Elder. I've lived here in Sweet Home about 10 years. I am a retired office manager from Lebanon Community School, so I've been to a lot of board meetings. I've not ever been to one of yours. Quite frankly, I am appalled. This grandma is appalled. What I would like you all to consider is if this kind of stuff was going on among your staff at, say, the high school, what would y'all do? What if this kind of stuff was going on the playground? What would y'all do? We need to do better and be better role models and stop with this. It is embarrassing. I really can't even believe it, the amount of intimidation, name calling, accusations, people not owning up to what they've said or apologies that are owed. And I get what all you guys have to do. You have a really big job. Been there, had to set up for board meetings. I understand it. But one thing I'm going to say is slandering people and all that is inexcusable. I don't even know this man, but calling him out at a public meeting that's going to be broadcast all over regarding whether or not he should be the superintendent or not should not be allowed to happen. So think about what you would do if it were at the high school or the elementary school or the playground. Really, you guys, grandma's done.
Thank you. Next we have the board policy discussion. For the flag. Unless. Well, I think, I know it's real quick. Yeah.
Okay, so I just, on the flag, I just want to understand when it was removed that we had to do it every day, why it was removed that we had to do it every day. I love the, standing and I've got all of that type of stuff, but I guess I want to know, I see what you're wanting to change in the policy, but when wanting to change in the policy, why was it changed to begin with? Do we know that?
I don't know, I was pretty shocked to see that it was once a week and myself.
And it's been that way for some time, just because I know that I've had kids move through the district, but does anyone know what? Dale thought maybe back in 2008, it maybe changed?
Yeah, I know at some point it was changed. There's been litigation, nationwide litigation, that I'm assuming affected that somewhat,
Okay.
but I don't know exactly.
There's been litigation within our state at Newburgh School District.
We reduced it to the 1 day because we were just trying to I guess.
The litigation isn't necessarily related to the 1 day, but it's related to banning political symbols, flags.
I believe actually, I remember seeing it somewhere in Oregon. I don't know if it's a statute of law, but I do know it's it says like once a week.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's optional. So when I saw that, I thought, wow, we should make it every day. And I don't know if anyone else in here was ready to.
So we can, or we can ask Jim. I was just gonna, I'll do my little.
Well, anyway, just to finish my statement, I don't know if anybody remembers like getting called to the office and do the Pledge of Allegiance over the microphone and raising and lowering the flag. I would love to see that come back to our community. So that's why I made the policy recommendation.
But
Well,
then
it isn't necessarily a first reading, I think, because we have to get board consensus on the proposed flag policy. The policy proposals are initiated by consensus of the board, not by an individual. And once that consensus is reached, I can direct the superintendent to have the proposed policy reviewed by the appropriate parties, which is OSBA and our legal counsel, to ensure that the district's not exposed to liability. And then following that review, it will return to the board for consideration of a first reading if that's what we decide to do. That's kind of the process.
So what do you need us to do? I don't see any issues with this. I think it's great.
And I believe that somewhere in our policies that you, and I wish I had it with me and I don't have my phone with me to look it up. But there was a policy that if we felt strongly to go ahead and make it policy, we don't have to wait for 3 readings. We can just go ahead and vote, but I believe it must be a majority. And yeah, it's like some sort of like, not emergency, but time is of the essence type of thing.
After the first reading, then, right? Once
Yeah,
it's
like-
considered a first reading?
Yeah, this is considered first.
But this isn't considered a first reading.
Yeah.
And that's it. So
So how do we go about getting it on the agenda to become a first reading? Is
He
that,
has to
Mr.
send it to
Chair,
the.
I move that we move forward on this to advance to a possible first reading. Get direct the Terry to make sure we're not voting against laws.
I would second. Oh, go ahead.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to clarify. So the process of any of us as board members, because this is the first time I've ever like needed a change of policy and submitted it, just want to make sure that we're agree. So if any of us want to make any changes to an existing policy, we have to follow this route that you're telling. We just can't vote on it and say that's policy. Is that what you're saying?
You could, but you may
You expose the
expose the district to.
liability.
So Terry will reach out to
The- the-
OSBA,
the-
see if we're under.
The city of Newburgh, the only problem that I see with the potential problem that I think you're gonna have pushback from the attorneys is the banning of all other flags. Because you say the state flag, the US flag and POW MIA and no other flags will be displayed except the ones mentioned in this policy. And I think that's kind of what Newburgh did, the Newburgh Education Association, the teachers, the student, the ACLU filed lawsuits against the board for the symbol ban and other actions. And they're doing probably what they probably did what we're probably going to be doing. They spent years, significant turnover of administration, staff, students, and a deeply divided community. So that's the one thing that I just want to tell you up front. That's the one thing that I think legal counsel may have an issue with.
So this isn't our policy, this isn't, right now, this is a policy you are trying to implement on your own. What is our policy? This is our policy. Oh, this is our policy.
Right.
So all we're trying to do is amend the policy.
Right.
To add, we're deleting the language that's stricken, and she wants to add the.
Oh, so you did add to what was on.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I
Oh,
go,
right.
on mine is in colored, so I can't see, I just look like I'm removing something.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was like, wait a minute, it already says all that.
Yeah,
Okay, understood.
We're adding the district shall display a US flag of appropriate size in each classroom. Flags must be manufactured in the United States and be properly displayed in accordance with the federal flag code. No other flags will be displayed except the ones mentioned.
so that's all added.
That's all added.
Got it.
We're changing from at least one day a week to every day during the school year. And we're adding, the board encourages district schools to give students opportunities to raise and lower the outdoor flags and to recite the Pledge of Allegiance over the loudspeaker. So those are the proposed changes. And yes, I think based on Newburgh, based on all the other litigation, First Amendment litigation that's happened related to banning symbols, I think to limit liability, we definitely need to run it through legal counsel.
So.
And if that's the consensus of the board, we'll get that consensus here. I'll have Terry run it through legal counsel and then we'll see what they come back with.
Are they currently allowed to display other types of flags? In, say, our elementary school?
We had our former board member in the back.
So
raise his hand.
the issue is when you're teaching about other countries and they're showing other flags. Are you not gonna do that now?
That's what I'm asking. Are we
Yeah.
doing that now?
Are you not gonna have it on the board when people are doing stuff? Are you not gonna have? And also when kids are doing penance for their colleges and all that, it gets into a whole real sticky wicket real quick.
I think
And I think that's why we only did it the once. Plus, if you start saying that you don't want to do it as an individual, they can't force you to do it.
Sure.
Because you cannot be forced. That's actually, if you're telling you you have to do it, that would be considered kidnapping.
Right, my sister's a history teacher, so I get the flags of all the countries and things like that. I guess I'm just,
I think I have a solution.
And-
To do, comma, except for educational purposes.
They're all.
no, yeah.
You have to
You-
most of this.
Oh.
Yeah, so is there any other discussion? All in favor of that, so there's a motion and a second to for me to direct Terry to send this to legal counsel.
Yeah, and they can advise on
And
that.
they can advise us and come back.
Yep.
Is there any other discussion?
I like your heart behind this. I can see your heart behind it and I can understand what you're saying. But yeah, I think advising on legal, just to cover our tail is a good idea.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got a consensus without a formal vote. Well, everybody in favor say aye. Nay. We have one nay for the record, Julie. And we'll go from there. Action items, the 2024-25 integrated programs annual report.
Wait,
Mr.
we
Chair.
did December meeting update to change the date.
No, I thought we talked about that.
No, we didn't talk about it. Mr. Looney's turn to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Mr. Superintendent, I mentioned it, yeah.
Yes, please.
I would just like to thank you guys for allowing me to be here. For the 2.5 hours we'll be here.
That you'll never get back.
That I'll never get back. Can I respectfully ask that you guys change the December board meeting 1 week later? And it's for the sole purpose of, we have 2 schools that do holiday programs. The high school has an auditorium that we use for the holiday programs, and it is full. It's got the singing Christmas tree, it's got band, it's got choir, and so it's packed. And so they've given us 2 dates, December 8th and December 12th. We have 2 schools that need to use that space. Last year we ran into this and I didn't have the foresight to tell you beforehand, and then it became a mess because I know there's at least 1 board member, and then also the board secretary has grandkids at my school. And we also have other members in the audience that have their kids or grandkids in my school. And this is a big deal. So I would respectfully ask for you guys to change your board meeting for us. Those are the only 2 dates that were available and we have locked in.
And to clarify, you want us to change it to the 5th, from the 8th to the 15th?
Is that what, that's what it has been presented as to be the best situation.
Sorry.
The following Monday.
I've got a
Yes, from the 8th to the 15th.
I entertain any motions.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Thank you. Can I get an extra $10,000 too?
There's some candy.
Yeah, I can take a treat.
Board comments. Action item, sorry. It's getting late. I haven't. Dinner's back there. 2020, action item 2024-25 integrated programs annual report. I'll look to you, Terry, Kevin.
You have a flyer.
Sure. The Oregon Department of Education requires us each year to present to the board an integrated programs annual report. And so here it is. What this is primarily about, here several years ago, Oregon approved the corporate activities caps, and a significant amount of that revenue goes towards student investment accounts, which is included in the integrated programs, also high school success. And so the purpose of this report is to show to both you, the board, but also to the community how those dollars are being spent, as well as to kind of just explain, give an overview of what integrated programs are. And then at near the end, the Oregon Department of Education has 3 questions that they ask districts to complete. And so we've included those questions with our full responses to you.
Thank you, Kevin. I would accept a motion to approve the 2024-25 integrated programs annual report as presented to the board and approved by the board.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Board comments.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I move that we accept the resignation.
There's been a motion to accept the resignation of Floyd Newschwander. Is there a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Hey.
So now that will go back, is that a position?
And I guess part of that is, part of your motion is implied is to direct Julie to post it, correct?
What position is that?
It-
Officer?
It's no,
Cascadian.
Cascadia.
So Julie will post it, we don't keep candidates from that area. Then it opens it up. So
How long do we give that process for someone to?
I think this last time it was 21 days.
Comes forward and.
Then we can.
So I guess. You give how long for someone in Cascadia? 21 days and then you open it up? Okay, thank you.
So kind of like you did with your.
Sure. She was just at large, so it was a little different.
Right.
Would you like to clarify something?
Because it's Cascadia, Cascadia only has Cascadia addresses on certain places out there, the rest of them are all Foster. So you have to designate a milepost, like milepost 10, milepost 8, whatever it is, up there to on a, or else you can't really do it because the zip codes are all Foster up in through there. They used to be Star Route 2
Box that and start.
Well, it's probably the district boundaries, right?
Yes, from there.
That you have to live in to run for the office.
But Cascadia doesn't have a school, so how would that?
It's still, there's no district. There's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Each position.
It's not a spot that you wanna go from.
Yeah. Pinpoint it on the map.
Because.
Right,
Probably.
okay.
Board comments.
I have a board comment. Well, it's not really a comment. It's more of maybe a little bit of a discussion on the cell phone policy. Just when we're gonna get back the preliminary policy review from them so we can create our own. Is there an ETA on that?
Mr. Chair, for me,
Yeah.
they're equivocating. We still have two deadlines. One, I believe, the end of October. And then the hard deadline in January.
Okay.
And so we have the governor's executive order that we have to create our policy with it.
Within from guidance of their policy or just create our own in general?
Within the confines of our language.
Yeah, within the confines of the executive order. We were hoping to have guidance model policy, and that deadline has come and passed, and we don't have that yet.
Okay.
And so what we're seeing is schools not putting out policy, but putting it into practice.
So we could add something as an action item or discuss making our own policy in the next board meetings. I just know the impact that it's, like, I understand what we put out to the district, that we're gonna follow the executive order right now. But I also actually have a kid there, and so I see the impact, I respect it, but I see the impact that it's having. And like the band app, those type of things, that's a communication line that goes to all the students at one time, like, hey, we're having a lunch meeting for baseball, don't forget, or hey, we have this. And they're not supposed to have their phones with them at those times.
Right.
Not that we can't respect some of that policy, but I'd really like to create our own.
And as I believe Steve said, we really need to hear from
Yeah.
parents, the community, our staff.
So we just need to figure out how to make our own policy for that with the guidelines.
And dental advice.
Well,
OSBA
they had a draft
Yeah.
that we reviewed. They were just, they were gonna talk to the governor's office and tinker with it. After at the OSBA meeting on the 9th and 10th, the weekend before our last board meeting. They had a draft policy. They said they were gonna, they asked some clarification from the governor's office, and we're gonna meet with them the next week, and I just haven't seen a notice in the policy update that they sent. Looks like there's draft policies too, so we will try and come up with something and bring it before the next meeting.
Okay. Just because
Is that,
we keep
I think
going
that's
to the next one.
doable.
The next one.
Yeah, and it may be one of those where we have to vote. The first deadline vote. Have a first reading, but put it on it unanimously to.
Put it in play.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Good catch. Any other comments?
We changed the words of the strategic planning. We did today, and when we get to October, so we will, our next will be the 6th one next week. I did not put that.
Okay.
And
That's October, what?
So it's the same day, October 13th.
To finalize that plan on the wall back there.
Sure.
and it looks like the next board officers meeting's Monday, the 6th at 3:30 in the superintendent's office. The next actual board meeting is Monday, October 13th at 6:30. There's no further business. somebody can make a motion to adjourn.
Well, can I just say one thing though?
Yeah,
Are we done with this investigation stuff? Because I think for us to be productive forward, we need to just come back to the next meeting and all we do is conduct business. Because that business needs to be done.
Agreed. Yep.
Because there's 2 meetings that have been tainted with a lot of stuff. And I just feel moving forward, for us to be productive, we need to just somehow, between now and the next meeting, put that to bed. And then we right or wrong, whether we feel the actions 2 meetings, not the last meeting ago, we made decisions, we've got board chairs in place. We've got people sitting at a table that I think are concerned about district and where it's going, what plans we have for the future, and want to be a part of that. And that any of this other stuff, we did what we were asked to do. We submitted it to the state, to the body. They're supposed to do an investigation. If they decide not to, then that's unfortunate for us that nothing was actually resolved. I understand things that happen, but we can't do anything else. We would go broke investigating it on our own. And that's where it's at. So I don't know what else to do going forward, other than just.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one, and we gotta move on.
Yeah.
So now we gotta move on.
I understand about moving on. Part of me just feels like we should have an investigation just to clear names. I just hate to put that to bed, but I also perhaps can make a suggestion that the investigation, whatever the results are. I don't know if we can discuss those, and I don't know if that falls under an executive section or something, or just so that we can talk amongst each other. Because it's right now, all we've got is this. This is the only time that we can come together and talk. And yes, we sounded like a bad family tonight, having an argument around a table. Okay, but somehow there has to be a resolution that sits well in our hearts.
I think the investigation, in my opinion, that's what Taylor said she was doing. She was investigating the school board. So in my opinion, everything's done.
I called her on the email and said, that's not, is that what you're actually doing? And she told me no. I got mine late. She said she reached out to everybody else the week prior.
Yeah.
And she just happened to use the same email that was sent to me, and it said the same thing. She was investigating the board.
Right.
Right to my.
She verbally told me she was not.
That's not.
And she told me she had told people that she talked to that. And I think she even said she was gonna follow it up in an email that I never saw.
I never got it.
So again.
So
there's
the investigation is done.
And I don't want to embarrass the board any more than what has happened here tonight, right? Having being chastised by grandma, her. If we did an investigation, is that paid for through any type of like insurance or anything?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm just asking.
No, and some of those personnel investigations that I
The attorney. I
sat through
talked
with
to
the
was-
city, the Miller Nash, it was $150K.
Yeah, the attorney that I talked to was $400 an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm out $1,000 for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So,
And I just, and when you get into investigations, you get, if it's not criminal beyond a reasonable doubt, the standard is by a preponderance of the evidence, which is basically more than 50% numeric terms. And they're basically going to say, I substantiate that or I don't. I've gotten enough that I think, yes, that allegation is substantiated. No, it's not. It's never going to provide anybody with.
Complete closure.
yeah.
Complete closure. You're innocent. It just doesn't, they just, all the administrative investigations that I've seen 26 years in the military, I've done them as a lawyer. I've ran people. I've been the investigator as an infantry officer. What I've seen at the county, what I've seen at the city, they will substantiate or unsubstantiate. They may use those terms a little bit differently, but they will never say, no, you're absolutely innocent.
I don't want to put any words, Mary, in my whatsoever. What I'm gonna say is, what it sounds like I'm hearing is a request for a special meeting for an executive session to talk about potential litigation. And so that would mean getting us together between now and our next meeting. Has to be noticed out 48 hours. And
It's litigation or litigation likely to be filed. What's the litigation?
well, we're talking about an investigation and where that may lead and all that. That either does or doesn't fit.
I think I would suggest if you're gonna do an executive session, you use the catch-all and use attorney-client privilege. Had an attorney write a memorandum about a subject matter and come and give us advice on it.
That would certainly, if it may, that would certainly be less costly than another full investigation. Because what I think I'm hearing is just, let's get some sort of closure for both Mary and Dustin. Let's get some closure so that we can move forward.
Exactly, something that we can agree to disagree on, move forward, if anything else. If we don't agree. Because otherwise this is ridiculous.
The only concern I have is the money that we would spend towards the children. I don't want it wrapped up in fighting.
Exactly.
Like, I don't wanna argue
Yeah.
and we're doing the same thing over and over and over
Yeah.
again and we're not getting anywhere. Like,
That's
that
right.
money that taxpayers pays need to benefit those classrooms and the teachers and everything around it.
So, I mean, I 100% agree with you. Again, my issue is, I want to start it all up, is just my character was too much. And that's the most important thing. My grandfather said, the one thing that you have in this world is your character, that you're in control of.
So Mary, can you sleep at night?
Not really. I'm sad.
Correct. Are you? I feel I've said my piece tonight.
You did a very good job.
I feel better.
Okay.
I think we can all move forward. Do you feel that way?
I will make this again, just public for everyone. I did not participate in this serial meeting. And I just want to be looked at as a person with integrity.
Yep.
Always since day one, I've been for the kids. And you, people that come to these board meetings absolutely know where my heart is.
So I think we can all move forward. Does everyone else agree?
So I'm hearing there's a consensus to not
Hash this out anymore.
hash this out anymore with the attorney.
I'm having a hard time just agreeing to something that is so deeply personal.
I know. But the people who know you know your true heart. So I have people out in the audience who know my true heart, and I'm good with that.
I'd like to just reserve the right to just go home, think about it, talk to my husband, and pray.
Well,
I moved to adjourn.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's where we are.
Yeah.
It's-